Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's the word? What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Y'all already know what it is, man. We are back again, and it's time for the bonus banger, y'all. It's time for a bonus banger, man. That's a lock. It's time for a bonus banger, and I got one. I keep a banger at all times. But like I always say before I start these videos off, I have no problem delivering this content to everybody that's out there working. Everybody that's out there working a 9 to 5. Everybody that's out there with their own business. Getting to that bag the legit way. I make sure y'all got something to watch in the mornings, man. I promise y'all it's no problem on my end. I also have no problem making sure I'm warning y'all and telling y'all about how dangerous prison is. I only ask for one thing in the process though, and that's for y'all just stay out the way. That's it, man. You want to go to jail, you want to stay out here with the good weather, man. Because when you go to prison, man, all that is taken away from you, man. You go outside when they want you to, man. You go out there and work your body out when they want you to, man. You stretch your legs when they want you to, man. You eat when they want you to, man. You get on the phone when they want you to, man. Everything is being monitored. Y'all already see what it is. It costs to be in prison now, man. So if you're a criminal, you got to pay to be a criminal, man. Who want to live life like that, man, when you got to pay to be a criminal? Like, you're going to pay to be a criminal if you get locked up and go to jail or prison. I'm letting you know now, it's not cheap to live in there. So I hope y'all don't burn no bridge and don't have nobody that y'all can't call to get no money. A lot of y'all be out here burning bridges, wilding out, doing crimes, and then get in there and just want to cry and call your family and do this. I mean, I get it. I did the same thing when I was young. But at the end of the day, man, like, I'm telling y'all, like, that's not the way to go, man. Turn your life around right now. You don't have to get on the phone and cry and complain and ask for money on your books and your phone. Just chill out. Just stay out the way. That's all you got to do, man. Stay out the way. Live a great life, man. Staying out the way is a great life. You know why? Because you're not going to jail. Tighten up, y'all, man. Stay out the way. That's all I'm trying to say, man. Period. But y'all already know what it is, man. This is a bonus banger. So let y'all do this one. Like, share, subscribe, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. But it's time for business. Time for business, y'all. And the story I got for y'all today is called He Had His Own Business. Part 1. Crazy story, crazy situation. But we are aware, people. We in penitentiary, man, where crazy things happen all the time. And I'm telling y'all, like, I have seen a lot of situations where guys get paid for their services, man. Like, you got to have somebody in there that got to protect people, man. Like, you know, I know that sounds crazy. You know, the person, y'all know the person that y'all be wanting me to be, like, by protecting everybody and, you know, and just, like, making sure everybody's safe, y'all. You know, the Cape guy who y'all be wanting me to be, there are actually people like that in there. Now, I'm not saying there's people like that in there for predators, but it's people like that in there for just people that just getting taken advantage of, man. So, like, you know, I have seen it all. I've seen some of them stand up to predators as well, man. But at the end of the day, it can go bad because, you know, you're taking up for people that, you know, people can't really take up for themselves. And being in prison is about holding yourself down, showing that you're not scared to be alone if you had to be alone, man. But like I say, it never really works out all the time. With that being said, though, we on Lawrenceville for this, y'all. We on Lawrenceville. I can remember when I first got to Lawrenceville, man. My very first day on Lawrenceville, man. Like, you know, a lot of people know this story. You know what I mean? A lot of people know the story of how I first got there, you know what I mean? But like, just going back to it one more time, when I first got off the bus onto a camp where I knew I was in a different place. I knew I was in a different place, man. It felt like I was in a different place, man. The air was different. The fences were different. There was no towers everywhere. There was freaking no freaking firearms from COs, no dogs. It was none of that, man. I promise you, I got off a bus to something that looked like a college campus with barbed wire. That's what it looked like, man. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what Lawrenceville looked like, man. A college dorm that had barbed wire surrounding it, man. So, like, I knew off the top I was in a better situation. I knew I was in a better place, man. So they moved me to a place where they was calling that was the place where all the members were living at, the red, the blue, the G's. Everybody was living in this joint, man. Like they had just did a move where a lot of people came to this place, and they put all of them. They just did a move where everybody came to the building I was going to, and then they moved a lot of the older dudes over to the other side of the yard. So it was like I walked into that. But I wasn't tripping on that, man. You know, they try to scare you about that when you first came in, like, yo, because of your age, you're going to that place. I wasn't tripping. I wasn't even tripping about it. I was so happy to be off Sussex too. Nothing was going to affect that. I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Nothing, man. So, like, I just went on and just walked over to the building when it was time to go. So when we got over there, y'all know I'm the type of dude, you know, I'm from Norfolk, and I know a lot of people. So, like, I was straight. But a lot of people won't straight, you know what I mean? Like a few dudes that came there, I could see the fear in their eyes when we entered that building. You know, even though Lawrenceville was a good camp, just imagine entering a building that has 3 pods that dudes is just going and walking and moving around however they want to. And it's like they all members basically, man. So like it was wild for a lot of people to experience that, man. But I went to 41 pod, man. That was my very first pod when I went to Lawrenceville. So when I got there, man, I ended up linking up with my homeboy Ty. He was somebody that I knew from Sussex too. You know what I mean? He was from the town as well, man. So like me and him was chilling. So I had definitely rocked with him because I had rocked with him on Sussex. So like I got there, he was just giving me the ropes, telling me everything, and like, you know what I mean, letting me know how it is. We messing with the la. I'm enjoying it. Like everything was smooth. So fast forward a little bit, y'all already know I was in the cell with the one of the main red team members. I got out that cell, man. I ended up moving downstairs, and that's when my bed kind of started in that pod, man. So like, you know, going back to when I first came in, I can remember when I first walked through the door, man, I spotted somebody that I saw that I knew from Sussex too. And there was a few dudes, a lot of dudes that was up there from Sussex too. But I remember seeing this one dude, man, we're going to call him Neil, man. A lot of dudes might call him Big Neil or whatever his name had a big behind it pause. But like, we're going to call him Neil, man. Neil was like, he was one of those dudes that, you know, in Sussex, man, he lived on the pull-up bar, push-up bar, dip bar in the pod. He's working out. I never was in the pod with him, but I was in the pod across from him. When I was in 2C, he was in 2D. So sometimes when I used to go in the top tier to holler at somebody, I'll see him always working out over there. You know what I mean? Kind of diesel dude, bald head dude. You know what I mean? He was a serious guy. Now, he didn't really bother nobody, but like, at first, he was just chilling. Then next thing you know, you started seeing him hang with a couple white dudes, you know, a couple black dudes. Like, he was hanging with people that you wouldn't think that he would hang with, man. Now, I'm not going to say where Neil was from, man. I ain't going to lie. I ain't going to say where Neil was from, but he was from Tidewater. Tidewater is 7 cities, y'all. So don't be like, Weezy, you still... No, Tidewater has 7 cities. So he's from Tidewater. Guess which one? So that's where he was from, though. He was from Tidewater. So, like... people from Tidewater, we still deal with everybody. Like, you know, you're going to have a Chesapeake dude rocking with Portsmouth dudes. You're going to have Portsmouth dudes rocking with Chesapeake dudes. You're going to have Norfolk dudes rocking with the beach dudes. And you might have all those cities that I just named rocking with each other. Now, like, at the end of the day, the dude Neil, he kind of like really didn't care about his home team. He didn't care about none of that. He was a loner off the top. So like I say, I never was in a pod with him. But when I would go out in the yard to hit the feces with my man, we would match feces when we would go outside. My man was in 2D. I would see him out there then, and that's when he would be hanging around dudes that I see that was slightly kind of weak. Now, I would say they were slightly kind of weak just off how they look. You know what I mean? They look like they need to hang around somebody that's super diesel, somebody that's definitely going to try to protect them. And you have people like that in penitentiary that needs that type of protection. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many dudes in there that just feel like they're not tough enough to survive prison. But if they get around somebody that they feel like they can protect them, they will do whatever it takes to be protected, man. Pause. Like, it's not always fruity activity, but, you know, a lot of times that's how the predators get in. You know what I mean? Neil had a different situation going on that I learned through the years of seeing him on Sussex too. And that was just hanging with dudes that know how to spend money to get to work. Now, Neil, only thing that he used to love was the la-la. He didn't mess with nothing else. But that la-la was his drop, just like a lot of other people that was on Sussex too. But he used to be around the dudes that used to spend the money. Now, the dudes that used to spend the money, like, they would make sure they had to look out for him. Neil didn't have to spend a dime. So there'll be a lot of times that a lot of people will have to cop from Neil because the white dudes that he used to be with would buy a lot of the work. So, like, Neil had a good thing going on. Like, it's stuff like that in the penitentiary that be happening, man. So that's what he was doing on Sussex too the whole time, man. Like, I never really seen no incidents where he had to put his hands on nobody or he just snapped out just for being a psycho. You know what I mean? I never seen that, man. So, like, when I had first moved in 41 part in Lawrenceville, like, when I walked in, I had seen him. We didn't really speak at first because it's been a few years, you know, 2 years and change, 3 years since, like, I've seen him. Or even when me seeing him, like, I still didn't, you know, we didn't have conversation, never. We never had conversation. So, like, but I knew he recognized me from Sussex too. So like, it took about a week or so that we finally crossed paths in the pod. And I, yo, what's up, man? Like, he was like, oh yeah, yeah. He used to talk like that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You was on Sussex too, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, man. Nah, Ben got off that camp, man. That camp went right. That camp went right. So I had to get up off that junk, man. I'm like, yeah, I know, man. They just turned the whole joint around. So we started conversating about the old Sussex too, and just different things like that. So as me and him talking, a white dude come up out of nowhere. And was like, hey, Neil. Hey, look, man, come on. Everybody's waiting for you, man. Hurry up. So he was like, all right, I'm coming down. Let me fill the ice up. So he was out there getting ice when I had seen him. So he got his ice. He was like, yeah, so what you be doing? I was like, man, I don't be doing nothing. He was like, what sell you? I was like, right here. I sell the bottle tip. He was like, all right, that's what's up. So I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling, man. Just, I just got up here and just trying to, get to know the joint, man. He was like, yeah, I be having the la sometime. I was like, all right, that's what's up. So he dipped out. So he went over to where the white dudes was at. So I go upstairs to my homeboy Ty said, when I went up to his cell, my homeboy Ty was like, yo, look. He was like, I was like, yo, bro. I was like, man. I was like, you don't remember dude from Sussex too, man? He was like, who, Big Neil? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I remember Neil. He was like, straight maniac. I was like, what you mean? He was like, man, before you got here, and Neil had to put the paws on somebody, man. I was like, who? He was like, some dude, man. I ain't gonna say what city this dude was from, but he was like, some dude, man, that was trying to get in the interfere and bucked on the white dude. The white dude used to be getting to work, and the white dude be spending money on the work, and like that just kind of like put Neil. That just made Neil angry. I was like, so what'd he do? He was like, whoever this dude was came in the pod to talk to the white dude and Neil, and like basically was saying that he bucking, man. He was like, Neil dropped him by the microwave. He was like, he knocked him out clean. I was like, what? He was like, bro, he knocked him out clean. He said, dude hit his head on the little joint that be holding the microwave up, the little counter joint. He said, dude hit his head on the joint, stood down there, sat down there for a while, got up, went out in the pod, walked out the pod, went back to his pod. I was like, what? Show me who this dude is. He's like, man, I'm gonna show you what we gonna eat. So when they called lunch, Ty showed me who the dude was. He wasn't really a super big dude, but like, I could see why he would be probably scared of Neil. Like, Neil looked like he ain't play no games, y'all. So, boom. Hearing all that Neil knocked dudes out and all of this, I was just like, that was crazy. That was crazy right there, man. But, I knew how he was moving on Sussex too. You know what I mean? I knew how he was moving on Sussex too. Now here in Lawrenceville, kind of moving the same way, but a little bit more discreet, because you can't really blow your situation up there and get in trouble and all that. Now, he knocked the dude out. And I guess that was probably to show the dudes that he don't tour around, like making a statement basically. So, like, I heard about that, and that jump was crazy to hear. But I already know Neil was a psycho. So, a little bit more time it went on, man. And like, I can remember one time that he popped up with the la. He had popped up with the la. So he had seen me one day, and everybody had went outside wreck. He seen me like down by the bulletin board, basically by downstairs by the door and the microwave and all that. He seen me. He was like, hey, Weezy. I was like, what's up? He was like, man, look like I got some good. He had looked super stoned, man. This about his eyes was red. He was like, man, I got some good la. Got some good la, man. He was like, man, we copped it over from 80 building, man. He was like, yeah, it's good too. You might want to try that junk, man. I was like, for real, man? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, man, that junk, all right, man. So I'm like, man, that junk crazy. I was like, man, that's crazy, Neil, man. I said, you keep your hand in that la too. He was like, oh yeah, I gotta keep my hand in that. You already know, I gotta keep my hand in that. So I'm like, so it's that simple though. I was like, so what you be spending? Like, what you be spending? Like, I was like, cause I'm just getting up here. I was like, I ain't trying to be nosy and get in your business or nothing like that. I said, but I'm just getting up here. So I'm just trying to just feel everything out and just like to see what prices are and like just different things like that. So he was like, man, for real, like, I ain't basically spending a dime. Like, I don't spend a dime. He was like, my main man, Josh, we gonna call him Josh. He was like, my main man, Josh. And that's the white dude that came and got him and told him like, yo, everybody waiting on you. He was like, yeah, my main man, Josh, man, he just buy everything and put it in my hand. That's all he do. So I was like, so your job is I'm messing with him though, but like, I'm talking to him at the same time, but I'm like, so you telling me your job is every time he buys some work, he gonna let you sell the work. That's what your job is. He was like, indeed, yeah, indeed. I was like, indeed. He was like, yeah, indeed. But it's basically, man, you know how I was moving on Sussex too, man. Like, I don't know, we ain't talk like that up there, but I did the same thing up here. He was like, up here, it's so many dudes that need like just somebody to hold them down. You know what I mean? He was like, everybody already know that I ain't on no fruity stuff like that. He let it be known by me and him was talking. When he said that, I'm like, as he said it, I'm like, he talking, yeah, I ain't with no fruity stuff. When he said that, I was like, it was a quick scare. He's telling the truth, he's just a goon. I'm like, yeah, I mean, bro, somebody gotta hold them down. But he like, yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people are trying to take it to their advantage. He's like, but these dudes I'm rocking with, though, they not fruity. They just, you know, they just want to get high, though, bro. That's all they want to do. So I'm like, yeah, that y'all crazy. He like, man, listen, man. So, like, you know, I gotta make sure everybody's straight. Just we be straight, you know what I mean? He's like, if that's my job, then shit, you can say that I got my own business then, basically, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I started laughing. I was like, man, that's crazy. Your own business is protecting dudes. He was like, man, it don't even matter the color. He said, I protect black dudes, white dudes. He said, look, this is what you do. He said, man, you got some tobacco? I was like, nah. He was like, I got some tobacco. He said, look, this is what you gonna do. Come to my cell, man. Everybody gonna be in there. I'm gonna introduce you to my 3 homeboys, man. I was like, I don't know. He was like, nah, just come by to Lala. You come to get some Lala, right? I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll come get some. I was like, look, I got 3 deodorants, bro. You know what I mean? He was like, all right, got you. Let me get that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna be down there. So I went to my cell. She's joking, you know what I mean? I get to the cell. I knock on the door. I see a black dude come and get up. Black dude get up, open the door. He look at me, kind of short black dude. He looked like he was older too, like in his late 30s. You know what I mean? I walk in the joint. As I walk in, I see Josh, the white dude Josh, he's sitting on the bed. Then it's another white dude sitting at the table part, you know what I mean? The black dude is behind me. Then I looked on the other part of the bed, it was the dude Big Neil sitting right there. So he walked in, when I walked in, he seen me, he was rolling up, he was like, oh, what's up? Hey y'all, and look, man, this is my homeboy, Weezy right here, that was on Sussex 2 with me, man. Hey Weezy, hey look, man, tell him what I was doing on Sussex 2, Weezy. I was like, what? He was like, man, tell him what I was doing. I was like, what, the same thing you doing now? He was like, yeah, like, man, listen, man, I'm tired of people, man. The dude Josh was like, man, look, nice to meet you, man. He was one of those cool white dudes. He was a little older too. He was like, hey, man, nice to meet you, man. He was like, yeah, man, he talked real highly of you. He was like, yeah, you know, like, man, I've been robbed twice up here since I got up here, man. He said they put me in 80, he said they put me in 70 building when I first got here. As soon as I got there, man, he said, I bought 5 spoons from a guy. The guy I bought the 5 spoons from, as soon as I paid him the money, he gave me the spoons. He said he came back in my room, man, and took it back. He said I was bucking, but he kept punching me, man. So I just gave it to him, man, because, you know, I don't have nothing but 3 years left. I'm not trying to, like, freaking get unalive. I'm trying to go home, man. I was like, shh, that joke crazy. The black dude was like, yeah, man, like, you know, if it weren't for Big Neil, man, I wouldn't even be able to mess with the La, man. He was like, everybody think just because I ain't from V8 that they can just take whatever they want from me, man. And, like, I'm hearing a side of Lawrenceville that I didn't know Lawrenceville had that type of side to them, though, man. But, like, it's so many people, and no matter what prison you go to, man, like, they prey on the weak. And preying on the weak is a hustle for a lot of dudes, man. Like, it's like a bully in high school. Like, you know, I'm gonna take his lunch money. It's the same thing in penitentiary, man. A freaking bully in penitentiary will watch from afar, like an eagle. He will watch from afar to see who you hang with, to see where you from, to see if you're tough, to see if you even look like, man, your posture is a fighter. Man, I'm letting you know now, they watch for everything, man. And if they don't see none of those things that I just told y'all about, they move in. They come in, man. They move in and they see what's going on one way or the other. And it's up to you how you gonna carry it, man. So yes, no matter the penitentiary, no matter where you go, man. And even I thought at Lawrenceville I was done with this. It didn't matter. People will still be bullied, y'all. So boom. And that's just how I go. That would never change in penitentiary. Let's get that straight, man. So like, after sitting in there hitting the feezy and like just freaking listening to all these horror stories of everybody just venting about how freaking soft they are, basically, man. Like, you know, I think it was time for me to leave. So he was like, yeah, go to jump for the 3 deodorants. I'm like, all right, I went in my sweatpants, gave him the 3 deodorants. He was like, man, that's just something to holler at you. I was like, all right, man. I got everybody up. And I left out the cell, you know what I mean? When I dipped, y'all know I went in, but I went straight upstairs to my homeboy Ty's cell. And when I was going upstairs, he was already standing in front of his door, so I didn't still beside him. So we standing by his cell on the railing. And we talking, I'm like, yo, bro. I was like, yo, he was like, you high? I was like, yeah, I just mess around with Big Neil. He was like, for real. He was like, I was about to ask you, do you want to smoke a feast? I was like, man, I'm lit now, though, bro. I mean, I ain't gonna turn it down. He was like, no, I'm saying, come on. So we walked in his room. He was like, what did we talk about today? I was like, bro, listen. I said, them people was in there like it was intervention. They was telling me everything about how they done got robbed before and all that. Now, if it weren't for Big Neil, they wouldn't be able to do this and do that. He was like, yeah, man, like Big Neil, he really be holding down. He be really holding down. So I'm like, yo, I can't believe that just like how comfortable people is up here like that. He was like, I mean, like, bro, for the most part, like, ain't no, everybody already know those 3 dudes, Big Neil rock with those 3 dudes right there. And that's his crew, you know what I mean? So don't nobody be messing with them. Like nobody really, you know what I mean? So I'm like, man, that junk crazy, man. So it was funny laughing about that because like witnessing that from dudes telling their stories like that was crazy, man. But at the end of the day, I had to move on with my life, y'all. So boom. So a little bit later on that day, we went to dinner. Man. It's like, I feel like Big Neil used to be down on everything anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he would look like he's a dude that got the power, got the money, got this, got that. But the whole time, he ain't nothing but the bodyguard. He ain't nothing but the shield. That's what he is, man. So I can remember when we was going to Child one day. So we going to Child one day, man. So we going to Child. I'm thinking he's still full up on the la-la or whatever the case. But we coming to Child Hall. He's at the table talking to a dude that's in 40 bill. So he talking to the dude. So I guess, you know what I mean, he's scoring or whatever the case. I seen him hand the dude something. So I was thinking it was some numbers or Western Union or whatever the case. I didn't know what it was. So he handed dude the joint. You know what I mean? He had dude the joint. So I guess the dude left. The dude left right while we was eating. You know what I mean? And like Lawrenceville so bootleg because it's like, you know, everybody got phones. So like a dude will come to Child Hall, you be like, yo, I got some numbers. He be like, oh, all right, I'm about to take them joints now, go check them now, and boom, boom, boom. When you walk back past them, I had the joints. So like it was a situation like that, you know what I mean? Because the dude he was talking to was in 30 building. So he talking to the dude, dude dip out, dude leave while we were still eating. So by the time we come back, by the time we walking back, we gotta pass 30 building to get to 40 building. This is where we going. So everybody coming back, like everybody be walking back from Child. You ain't gotta be in no line, it's just everybody just walking. So they had a roadblock at 30 building. Now, a roadblock is where they stop you because it's going to be a pod coming out of 30 building that's going to be going to eat. So they'll stop us and let them go around, and then they'll let us go to 40 building. You know what I mean? So we all stop right there. Dudes will come out, be talking to dudes, like, yo. So everybody right there at the roadblock. So I see the dude come out, the same dude that he was talking to, he come out. And he walked up to Neil. The CEO was like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, hold on. He walked up to Neil. He said, hey, man, them numbers ain't right. Numbers ain't right. Neil was like, what? He was like, them numbers ain't right. I just checked them, man. Here, man, numbers ain't right. Neil was like, man, listen, man, my number's always right. What you mean? My number's always right, man. What you talking about, man? Dude was like, man, who gave you the numbers? So as he said that, he called a white dude, Josh, over there. Josh walked up. He was like, what you say? Numbers wasn't right. He was like, yeah, man, them numbers weren't right. I just checked them. Numbers weren't right, man. Numbers weren't right, man. Neil, you keep bringing me numbers that ain't yours, man. Bring me some numbers that's yours, man. You keep trusting these dudes, man. Neil was like, all right, for now, you good for now. Dude was like, what you mean for now? He was like, nah, because we're going to go make sure that money right. We're going to call his peoples. And when you think we can't get in contact with nobody? Man, ain't nobody going to take no $100 from us, man. I'm just letting you know now. Dude looked at Big Neil. He was like, man, that money ain't even yours. Neil was like, man, I don't care who money it is. I don't care who money it is, man. My job is to make sure everything runs smooth. He was like, yo, job. He was like, man, you ain't got no job because you protecting these pussies. Josh looked at him like, Neil was like, caught himself. Josh was like, hold on, man, just wait till we check the numbers. Dude was like, man, I'm gonna holler at you, man. Dude went back in the building. Man. That's my word, he went back in the building. So I'm like, it's crazy. So by the time we got back to 4 building, everybody was talking about it like, yo, man, like, I think dude trying to bump with a white boy Josh because he a white boy, even though Neil protecting him, you know what I mean? Whatever the case, dude don't care nothing about that. And like I'm telling you, man, like Lawrenceville, when it came to them Western Unions and them green dots, man, it's a grimy game. It's a grimy game, y'all, all around the board, however you can think about it. It's a grimy game, man, because you have to trust somebody. And the person that you're trusting can be the person that's going to freaking jerk you at the end of the day, man. So, like, I don't know what Neil was going to do or how he was going to figure out that this money wasn't good or was good or what not. But I was new to Green Dot. Green Dot was just hating. I didn't know nothing about Green Dot at the time. You know what I mean? When I first got there, everybody was talking Western Union and Green Dot. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just trying to figure out what the Green Dot was. I was figuring that majority of the people that was using the Green Dot had a cell phone game. So like, you know, I didn't have a phone and I wasn't getting to no bag at the moment. So I didn't have nothing to do with the Green Dot. So I didn't know what was going on. So we shoot back. So after we get back to the building, I just see Neil just dip. Neil just moved. And then I looked, he went to somebody's cell and he came back on his cell, he put his cut up. So he in the cell for a minute. So as he put the cut down, I see him walk to the front door. He gets to his front door. He's standing there, he looking out the door, he like, he can't stop looking out the door, he like, doom, 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 hey, call him, yeah. I couldn't hear the name he was saying, like, call him. Call him, man. Call him. I looked up, I seen Josh walking up with his coffee cup. Josh was like, came to the door yet, man? It's freaking bullshit, man. Like, it's always somebody, man. Like, fuck. Fuck is going on here, man? Neil face ain't changed. Neil was like, man, get him to the door, man. Wait for a minute. The whole pod looking at this whole situation because Neil looked fucking angry. Dude came finally to the door, I guess. I didn't see him. All I know, I heard Neil say this, hey, man. He grabbed Josh, he was like, come here. Josh was like, he had his coffee cup, he was like, hey, look. Those numbers got tooken, man. Those numbers got tooken, man. At 12:05. And that's around the time we went to lunch. We go to lunch like 11:50, stuff like that. He was like, them numbers got tooken, man. At 12:05. At 12:05, man. Yeah, I'm letting you know now, man. I'm letting you know now when they call rent, you better have my goddamn money.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart just to open your eyes up.